to prove that as long as you're brave enough, even a female ghost on maternity leave can succeed. You directly participated in a globally live-streamed human ghost matchmaking show, while other male guests trembled with fear during the selection of their ideal female ghost. You boldly pressed the lights on all 12 female ghosts. This was because you, a Taoist priest, were born with an abundance of yang energy. If you didn't unite with an extremely yin woman within 7 days, you would surely explode and die. Fortunately, the world you live in has long been invaded by the supernatural. To avoid extinction by these creatures, humanity racked its brains and developed the human ghost matchmaking show. The female guests participating in this matchmaking show are all top-tier female ghosts from various terrifying realms. Whoever successfully marries a female ghost can conquer her realm, protecting their people from the harm of that realm. It can even open a communication channel between the supernatural world and the real world. Countries have established matchmaking academies and invested heavily in training them. The talented matchmaker never expected that. After nearly 100 episodes, not a single person had succeeded in finding a match, and the mortality rate among the participants was a frighteningly high 99. As the male guest representing the Dragon Kingdom in this episode's battle against the Canon Ghost, you weren't worried about surviving at all. Your first priority was to find a matchmaking mentor teacher. Are the female ghosts in this eerie matchmaking event beautiful? The mentor asked, momentarily stunned, suspecting you'd been scared out of your wits. But considering you were about to sacrifice yourself for Longshot Kingdom, he couldn't say anything harsh. Beautiful? More beautiful than any celebrity, he said. As soon as he finished speaking, a golden beam of light descended from the sky, enveloping you completely. When you opened your eyes again, you found yourself standing on a huge stage, surrounded by 8 other matchmakers from different countries. Then an ethereal voice rang out. Next, please welcome our female guest. 12 women dressed in various costumes emerged from the darkness. They varied in style and height, but without exception, all were stunningly beautiful. However, the viewers watching the live stream were terrified upon seeing these female ghosts. This was because the female ghosts who arrived from the matchmaking realm were all bosses from SSS level dungeons, were so terrifying that compared to the difficulty of the female ghost guests in previous episodes, this was practically hell mode. Even the matchmakers couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat upon seeing the female guests. At this moment, a matchmaker from East England scoffed. One SSS level female ghost, and you're this scared? The 2 Korean players instantly frown upon hearing that. These are SSS level female ghost bosses. Can't you win them over? Izumi Yojiro from Sakurasu said, "We've simulated it no less than 5,000 times. Our Japanese plan has a 65% chance of winning over the female ghosts." At this moment, William from England interjected, "Only 5,000 times? Our country, the Succubus Queen, has been simulated nearly 10,000 times with a success rate as high as 70. Upon hearing this, netizens from Dragon Kingdom were astonished. Oh no, other countries are so well prepared this time. Our Dragon Kingdom contestant doesn't even have a strategy manual, let alone marrying a female ghost. He'll probably have a hard time surviving." Yuan Shinya, the head of the Dragon Kingdom's Ghostly Marriage Strategy Institute, looked at the barrage of comments on the video with a helpless expression. For such a national event, the Dragon Kingdom has naturally simulated matchmaking with female ghost guests like the female innkeeper of the Yellow Springs, and has even simulated it more than 30,000 times. But you, this contestant who appeared out of nowhere, have never contacted them. This is why the strategy manual has not been delivered to you. On the stage, you are completely unaware of what is happening in the live broadcast room. Your eyes are burning as you scan the female guests not far away. Teacher, you're not lying to me. These matchmaking female ghosts are really amazing. I've been moved 12 times in just this short while. Just as you were still immersed in it, a mesmerizing voice rang out, officially beginning the eerie matchmaking event. You had 1 minute to observe each other and choose the girl you were attracted to. Soon, contestants from other countries locked onto their targets. But you hesitated. You liked every female ghost. Your eyes were dazzled. And you couldn't decide, seeing your hesitation. The netizens from Lobster Country grew anxious. If you didn't choose, you'd be tested by all the female ghosts. If you encountered a ghost who didn't like torturing people, it would be fine. But if you encountered a sadist, like the vampire queen Audrey, it would be worse than death. But what they never saw coming was that, even until the countdown ended, you still hadn't made a choice. As the mesmerizing voice rang out again, the host began to announce the list of favorites. William from England. His favorite girl was number 3 Audrey in Park. Il-sung and Park Budong from Korea. The contestants chose contestant number 7 Jeong Xiaomei and contestant numero 5 Naivai Suvesi. Whenever a female ghost name was mentioned, they would all look towards the person who had chosen them. But beneath their pretty lips lay a chilling smile. Soon, the voice announced that Mo Qingyang, the contestant from Longshot Kingdom, standing at the back, had not made a choice. Upon hearing this, all the other contestants turned sharply to look at you, as did the female ghosts opposite you. Longshot Kingdom contestant, are you going to forfeit? According to the rules of the eerie matchmaking event, if you forfeit, you must undergo the female guest test before you can leave the venue. And the mortality rate of these tests is as high as 99. The people of Longshot Kingdom were plunged into despair, all believing you had given up hope. But your answer was unexpected. Someone unexpectedly asked, "Can I choose all of these female ghosts if I like them all?" A deathly silence fell over the scene, even a voice echoing from the matchmaking space. "Stop speaking." After an unknown amount of time, the voice from the darkness sounded again. "Are you sure? Please confirm again." The host calmly asked the female ghosts if they could allow him to choose all of them. The host's voice pulled the female ghosts back from their daydreams. Their blood-red eyes looked at you. Previously, humans had shown them all kinds of awe and fear. Suddenly, a human who dared to express all his feelings in front of them piqued their interest. After the female guests agreed, red beams of light appeared in front of each of the matchmakers, connecting with the female ghosts they were attracted to. In other countries, it was 1-on-1 or 2-on-1, but you were facing all 12. The next phase of this terrifying 12-person blind date is the questioning segment. The female guests can ask questions of the men they are attracted to. The answers must be truthful. If a female ghost has any doubts, she can pose a test, which the male guest must accept. After the questioning, the female guest can choose to observe and continue the blind date or be eliminated. As the voice from the space rang out again, the female ghosts all looked at the screen in front of them. Suddenly, netizens noticed that more than half of the 12 blind date female ghosts were looking at your position. Selection complete. Please welcome female guest number 1, Han Rushuang, to begin the questioning. The person being questioned is Mo Qingyang from the Dragon Kingdom. Female guest number 1 is the proprietress of the SSS level dungeon, the Yellow Springs Inn. She is dressed in a red hanfu, her delicate appearance exuding a chilling aura. This humble woman, Han Rushuang. May I ask the young master's name? On the other side, inside the mysterious marriage strategy courtyard of the Dragon Kingdom, Yuan Xinya, upon hearing the question, quickly instructed the staff to bring out a mock script to check what kind of words would best meet Han Rushuang's expectations. Seeing that all he needed to do was answer truthfully to pass, Yuan Xinya finally relaxed. However, to his surprise, after a moment's thought, Yu replied, with a nonchalant attitude, "My surname is Mo, my given name is Qingyang, and my courtesy name is Liangren. Miss Han, just call me Liangren." This statement immediately raised a string of question marks above everyone's heads. Wow, this guy is too brave. It's only the beginning, and he dares to flirt with a female ghost? Yuan Xinya almost spat out blood. In their deductions, no one dared to flirt with a female ghost. Looking at the screen, Yuan Xinya could only secretly pray that you would die easily. But unexpectedly, Han Rushuang, upon hearing the answer, did not get angry and remained gentle. Young Master Qingyang is dashing and charming. But why did he come here for a blind date? Someone as humorous and witty as you must have many family members. Hearing Han Rushuang's question, Everyone in the mysterious marriage strategy courtyard became excited. Mo Qingyang is truly lucky. They've all been teasing him, yet she wasn't angry. So, even if Qingyang didn't say what we predicted, even saying something serious like sweet nothings will be fine, everyone looked at you nervously, hoping you'd speak properly this time. But your answer shocked them. How could those ordinary beauties compare to you? This young master doesn't like beating around the bush. Let's name a price. At this moment, the viewers in a live stream were stunned, asking a female ghost to name a price for herself. This wasn't teasing. It was courting death. As they expected, Han Rushwang paused for a moment, then her smiling face slowly turned cold. Her body was also undergoing a visible change. Her hair, which had been tied up, suddenly came loose the next second. She flew into the air, her blood-red eyes staring intently at you. What did you say? After saying that, she flew in front of you, her long nails gripping your neck. The suitors not far away, watching the enraged Han Rushwang, were all terrified, afraid to even breathe lest they be caught in her crossfire. Yet, despite the perilous situation, you still wore a smile. Your strength had only revealed a half-step great fiend level of eeriness, posing almost no threat to someone as accomplished in Taoist arts as you. Looking at the female ghost less than a meter away, you calmly said, "Miss Han, isn't this a blind date? Since I'm going to marry you, there should be proper betrothal gifts, right? If you don't name your price, I'll be shortchanging you." Just as Han Rushwang was about to retort, she suddenly froze. Name your price? She thought. While you were trying to fool Han Rushwang, you also had a backup plan. After all, she was an SSS-level female ghost, experienced and knowledgeable, and might not believe your smooth talk. So, taking advantage of her momentary daze, you silently recited the ghost child incantation. The next second, your eyes emitted a chilling green light, one of your intersect practices. If Han Rushwang didn't fall for it, you would use the ghost child incantation to eliminate the female ghost. Their eyes met, and time seemed to freeze at that moment. Neither the person nor the ghost made a move until the Space Master. The host's urging voice rang out, and Han Rushwang finally snapped out of her daze. The moment she looked at you, her body seemed to be bewitched. Not only did she completely lack the courage to attack you, but she even felt like a shy girl. This was precisely the power of your ghost child curse, which could unearth the most vulnerable parts of a ghost's heart. Regaining her composure, Han Rushwang abruptly released her grip, turned around, and walked toward the distant spot. Watching her graceful figure, you quickly pressed, "Miss Han, you haven't answered my question yet. How much dowry do you need?" Han Rushwang paused. "Who said they wanted to marry you?" And there was a hint of coquetry in her voice. The live stream chat exploded. Was Han Rushwang's last sentence just an attempt to be cute? Could she really have fallen for this Mo Qingyang? After hearing the answer, you were secretly delighted. The ghost child curse could indeed force a female ghost temporarily fall for you, but you didn't like using this method. After all, what you gained through magic wasn't true love. You wanted a ghost wife who was completely devoted to you. Just one ghost wife couldn't handle your pure young body, so you needed to find several wives. Thinking of this, you called out to the host in the space, "Miss Han, could you? I still need to consider it. Let's continue. I want to see if any of the other female guests have fallen in love with me at first sight." Upon hearing this, the host momentarily froze, taking a full 10 seconds to react. Contestant, don't rush. The first segment isn't over yet. Next, please make your choices. Option 1, test. Decide whether to pair up with the male guest through a test. Option 2, turn off the light. No need to observe. Directly break off the relationship with the male guest. Option 3, keep the light on for observation. You can ask questions during the observation period. Test or turn off the light. Hanru Huang ansvarit. Netizens have already sentenced you to death. Eating. What's in your bowl while eyeing? What's in the pot? This has crossed the line for the female ghost. Han Rushwang will definitely choose to test him directly. Mo Qingyang is doomed. However, after hearing the host's words, Han Rushwang's face turned red. What's going on? Why was my heart beating so fast just now? For so many years, I've never been moved by anyone. This is too abnormal. And when Qingyang said he wanted to see the other female guests, I actually got angry. After a moment of contemplation, She chose to keep the light on to get to know him better. For a moment, space seemed to freeze. The foreign matchmakers looked on in disbelief. This was still the same ruthless female ghost, while everyone was still in shock. Park Budong from Korea had a brilliant plan. He intended to switch his target later on, because he suddenly discovered that Han Rishwang actually liked these cheesy pickup lines, and Korea's entertainment industry was booming, with all sorts of sweet romance dramas popping up. Their cheesy pickup lines were far more sophisticated than yours. Soon, the first round of questioning ended, and all the contestants hailing from various countries passed the first round safely because they were well prepared. Next, the male guest would ask the female guest questions, and the order of questions will be based on the speed at which the lights dimmed. As the host's voice fell, the lights on the dating side also began to dim. Park Budong from Korea, who had the fastest hands, grabbed the first spot. He raised his hand and said, "This time I want to ask Ms. Han Rishwang." This immediately aroused everyone's curiosity. Wasn't the Korean contestant supposed to choose number 7, Jiang Xiaomei? Why was he asking Han Rishwang? While everyone was wondering, Park Budong explained this. Right at that moment, both of our Korean contestants chose female guest number 7. I don't want to compete anymore. I feel that Han Rishwang is more in line with my crush. Then his gaze turned to Han Rishwang. Miss guest number 1, what is your impression of me? Han Ru Huang frowned slightly. Park Budong was a typical, effeminate man from Goryeo. In the real world, he would attract many young girls. However, for a female ghost, strength was the primary factor in judging a human's matchmaking. Clearly, this Park Budong was far inferior to her, but as the proprietress of an inn, she still said some polite words. A dashing young master naturally attracts many women. Park Budong was secretly pleased. Mo Qingyang is only 1.8 meters tall and dressed so shabbily. How can he compare to me? Thinking this, he confidently puffed out his chest. Since Miss Han thinks I'm dashing, why didn't you ask my name? Facing this shameless, effeminate man, Han Rushung suppressed her annoyance. I don't know your name, young master. My surname is Park, and my given name is Budong. Everyone calls me Appa. Hearing Park Budong's words, the netizens finally understood. He was actually using the same method Mo Qingyang had used to flirt with Han Rishwang. This guy was here to steal her away. Truly worthy of Goryeo, utterly shameless. On the other hand, the Goryeo netizens were excited. Park Budong, as expected of an adventurer from Goryeo who has cleared A-level dungeons. His mind works incredibly fast. If Park Budong really manages to win over Han Rishwang, then Goryeo will leap to become an SSS-level powerhouse. But the ancient and mysterious Han Rishwang obviously didn't understand this modern term. What does Appa mean? The live stream chat erupted in laughter. The Goryeo contestant is too funny. How could a female ghost possibly know what Appa means? In Goryeo, Park Budong was also frustrated. After comforting himself, he laughed and said, Appa in our high school only means brother, and it's also a girl's way of addressing her lover. An Rushuan's voice suddenly turned cold. You mean you want me to call you brother? At this moment, a faint chill emanated from her. Park Budong was startled. He could clearly feel Han Rishwang's murderous aura, but what he completely failed to understand was that Mo Qingyang had told her to call him good man without getting angry. He had only asked her to call him brother. So why did she have murderous intent? Suddenly recalling the honeyed words she had said earlier, he reorganized his thoughts and said, Miss Han, I fell in love with you the first time I saw you. I want to marry you. That's why I've offended you. Please forgive me. Han Rishwang glanced at him indifferently. Young master, dashing and debonair, with so many beauties. Why do you want to marry me? And didn't you initially choose number 7? Park Budong was overjoyed. This was exactly the line Mo Qingyang had said earlier. If he answered according to Mo Qingyang's words, Han Rishwang would keep her light on for him. So he immediately copied Mo Qingyang's words, replying, how can those ordinary beauties compare to you? But to his surprise, Han Rishwang didn't react. The female, ghost Jiang Xiaomei, standing at number 7, spoke with a cold voice. So I'm just an ordinary beauty, right? Hearing Jiang Xiaomei's words, Park Budong broke out in a cold sweat. He never expected Jiang Xiaomei to suddenly attack him. Even more unexpectedly, Seeing him stammering and unable to speak, Han Rishwang also began to press him. So, between the two of us, who is the ordinary beauty? The ghost questioning put Park Budong in a dilemma. Just as he was wondering how to answer, a figure suddenly rushed towards him, kicking him to the ground. Then a barrage of punches rained down on him, all the while shouting, "You vulgar woman, you dare say I'm your wife." In just a few seconds, Park Budong was beaten into a pig's head. Everyone was stunned by this scene, until a pig-like scream rang out. Only then did the other matchmakers react. Park Il-sung, who was closest, quickly grabbed him from behind. "What are you doing, Dragon Kingdom contestant?" he said, raising his fist to avenge his companion. "But you're not flustered at all. Instead, you winked at him. Hurry up and say thank you to me." Hearing this, Korean netizens were furious. The Dragon Kingdom contestant is too much of a bully. He beat up our people, and now he expects us to thank him. Seeing this, the authorities issued a global announcement condemning the Dragon Kingdom and demanding a reasonable explanation. Otherwise, they would go to war with Longsha. The news quickly reached the ears of the Longsha National War Bureau director. However, facing his subordinates' anxious inquiries, Director Long Zhanyun remained calm. He had noticed that while your behavior on the show was quite bold and dangerous, you miraculously managed to escape unscathed each time. Therefore, he decided not to respond for now, and you didn't disappoint him. Faced with the Korean contestants' fist-throwing question, you remained calm, saying, "I saved his life, so what if I got injured?" Park Il-sung was stunned for a moment before finally realizing that Park Budong had angered Jiang Xiaomei. No matter what he answered, he would die. Mo Qingyang's actions had conveniently changed the subject and saved Park Budong's life. Little did he know that your real purpose was to attract Jiang Xiaomei's attention. Your act of saving someone was just an excuse made on the spot. On the other side, Long Zhangyan, seeing the situation reverse, angrily ordered his men to send a response to Goryeo. Our Dragon Kingdom kindly helped their players out of trouble, and they actually want to start a war with us? Were their intentions? But as soon as his men left, Long Zhanyun couldn't help but laugh. Haha, Mo Qingyang. This kid has beaten the Goryeo players into a pulp, and he calls this helping them out of trouble. This young guy has been completely outmaneuvered by Mo Qingyang. Soon, the Dragon Kingdom's questioning reached Goryeo, and their website was instantly overwhelmed by Dragon Kingdom netizens. Goryeo had no choice but to publicly apologize to the Dragon Kingdom. At the same time, Park Budong, who had been beaten, finally woke up. He angrily looked in your direction, about to explode, but was stopped by Park Il-sung beside him. "What are you doing? If your benefactor hadn't hit you, how would you have answered Jiang Xiaomei and Han Rishwang's questions?" After thinking for a long time, Park Budong suddenly realized and looked at you with gratitude. This brother's really good, someone you can confide in. But what you didn't expect was that Park Budong didn't cause you any trouble, but the host got angry first. Dragon Kingdom contestant, why did you hit someone? He said my wife is a common woman. Do you think you should have hit her? Upon hearing this, netizens instantly went wild. Your wife? She couldn't be talking about Jiang Xiaomei, could she? Didn't you just say you wanted to marry Han Rishwang? Jiang Xiaomei was also stunned, but when she looked at you, she found you with a righteous and awe-inspiring look. Wife, don't be afraid. If anyone dares to say that again, your husband will stand up for you. Looking at your sincere face, Jiang Xiaomei was a little at a loss. Is this guy's skin too thick? However, speaking of which, he was quite amusing. He actually beat up the other party just because they said something about him. Thinking of this, Jiang Xiaomei's lips curled up slightly. Then who do you think is more of a commoner between us? Hearing this, the netizens from the Longsha Kingdom felt a tightness in their hearts. Oh no, this problem has shifted to Mo Qingyang. No matter what Mo Qingyang answers, he will definitely offend the other female ghost. This is a dead end, compared to the despair of the netizens from the Longsha Kingdom. The high-ranking officials of Goryeo cheered. Director Park Gukchong slammed his fist on the table with great satisfaction. He had been holding back his anger after issuing the apology statement, but he didn't expect the satisfaction to come so quickly. This Mo Qingyang actually brought it upon himself. As long as this Mo Qingyang is killed by the female ghost, Goryeo's chances of capturing Han Rishwang will be even greater. At that time, they can use the strange passage to make Goryeo the #1 country in the universe. But what he never expected was that you had already thought of a perfect explanation. When Park Budong was questioned, you pretended to be very embarrassed, smiled, and said, "My dragon kingdom has 4 beauties who can make fish sink, geese fall, the moon hide, and flowers blush. I wonder if you two know them?" The two women pondered for a moment and quickly understood what you meant. You were going to use the 4 beauties to describe them. In terms of beauty, Han Rushwang could be considered to make the moon hide, her breathtaking beauty rivaling the moon's brilliance and even eclipsing its luster. As for Jiang Xiaomei, she was more like a sinking fish, except she sure could sink a pristine carp while you could sink a golden dragon. Jiang Xiaomei burst out laughing, and netizens, seeing her shy expression, concluded that Mo Qingyang was a genius at flirting. Mo Qingyang's level is too high, they exclaimed. She sure could sink me. I'm just a little envious. Mo Qingyang said that Jiang Xiaomei could sink a golden dragon. Doesn't that mean Jiang Xiaomei was even more beautiful than Han Rushwang and the staff at the Dragon Kingdom's Marriage Strategy Center, who had previously given up hope, now looked as if they had been resurrected as our Dragon Kingdom struck gold. I've rehearsed it thousands of times and still haven't found such a perfect answer. This time, our Dragon Kingdom is safe. Only Mo Qingyang isn't so optimistic. This is only the first stage. The more dangerous moment is yet to come. Don't forget, Mo Qingyang chose all the female ghosts. Han Rushwang and Jiang Xiaomei might go easy on the others, but that's uncertain. As he predicted, after the 2 female ghosts got their satisfactory answers and were walking back, another voice came from the female guest seats. "Since you've also chosen me, may I ask a question?" The speaker was the leader, Lin Yuru, standing in position 9. She wasn't in a hurry to reveal which dungeons, matchmaking platform she was from, but judging from her attire, she should be a teacher. Is that so? I am Lin Yuru. Sinking fish is just an adjective. What does it have to do with fish? Do you think such low-level and hypocritical flattery can make us fall for you? Seeing Lin Yuru suddenly attack, netizens couldn't help but speculate. This Lin Yuru is a teacher, Montak Qingyang, from Xin Yuan Ghost School. Immediately understood. Against these flirting words this time, Mo Qingyang had met his match. But you were not flustered at all when faced with questioning. "Miss Lin, I don't like to hear you say that. Where did I flatter you?" Unexpectedly, Lin Yuru's face was full of disdain. They both come from ancient times and have never heard such praise before. But the space I live in is no different from reality. I've heard this kind of cheesy pickup line a lot. It's just a scumbag fooling naive young girls. Seeing your silence, Lin Yuru's face turned cold. She hated this kind of scumbag who fell in love with every girl he met. Ever since you chose all 12 girls you were interested in, she had already listed you as a key target to eliminate. But what she didn't expect was that you, after coming back to your senses, shrugged and said, "Miss Han Rushwang and Miss Jiang Xiaomei are indeed worthy of the beauty of the moon and the sinking fish. Miss Lin, don't take advantage of your beauty to slander me." Just as Lin Yuru was about to get angry, she suddenly froze, not knowing how to retort. Seeing her stunned, a flash of inspiration struck you. "Shouldn't you apologize to me? Is Mo Qingyang crazy? You dare to make a female ghost apologize? Isn't this how exciting things are in your Dragon Kingdom?" Lin Yuru asked, looking puzzled. "Why should I apologize to you?" You sighed slightly and walked out from behind the stage, showing off your clothes. "You can see that I'm actually a Taoist priest. We Taoist priests always follow our hearts. The reason I chose all 12 female guests is because my heart told me. I was captivated by your beauty, but you said I'm a scumbag for following my heart." You looked at Lin Yuru with a melancholy gaze. "If I only chose one of you, wouldn't I be doing something against my conscience? I can't ignore your beauty, and I can't deceive my own heart, can I?" The Taoist priest's words, spoken with such force and conviction, stunned everyone present, including the 12 female ghosts opposite him. What seemed like self-promotion was actually a blatant compliment to the ghosts, portraying himself as a paragon of virtue. These ghosts had never heard such words before. Even a more modern ghost like Lin Yuru was taken aback. For a moment, the ghosts fell silent, not a single one uttering a question. The host then announced, "The question and answer session is over. We will now proceed to the first round of selection. First, the French contestants' female guests. Please choose whether to keep your lights on or off." As the announcement faded, the ghosts began their selections. The French contestant's heart was in his throat. As the lights went out one after another, if all the lights went out, he would have to enter the eerie passage back to the real world and the teleportation. It was extremely dangerous. The only chance of survival was for everyone to go out together. If anyone else left the light on, he would definitely perish in the eerie passage. Fortunately, a female ghost left the light on for him. But when he saw the female guest who left the light on, he instantly broke out in a cold sweat. The one who left the light was the succubus queen who enjoyed torturing people. She left the light on for every male contestant, just to torment them in the second round. Meanwhile, the staff at the Dragon Kingdom's matchmaking agency are leaving lights on for you, but rather that there might be too many ghosts leaving lights on for you. The second round is where the real test begins, and it's also the part where most contestants perish. The more female ghosts leaving lights on, the more challenges you'll face. Next, please have the female guests choose who will leave a light on for the contestant. Mo Qingyang from the Dragon Kingdom. As soon as the words were spoken, a series of ding-ding-ding sounds rang out. Other female ghosts who were initially hesitant suddenly grew curious. After seeing the female ghost next to them light up, the result was that all 12 lights were lit. Watching you being chosen by all the female ghosts, the viewers felt their scalps tingle. This had to be the absolute first time since the eerie emergence of the bizarre marriage space that someone has had lights left on for them by all the female ghosts simultaneously. That means he'll have to go through at least 12 trials of fate. It's unlikely he'll even need 12 because he might die on the first one. The Dragon Kingdom strategy team is also in despair. Montauk Qingyang not only has to endure the trials of 7 A-level and B-level female ghosts, but also suffer the torment of 5 SSS-level female ghosts. Mo Qingyang's chances of survival are slim. Before they could even formulate a strategy, the host's voice rang out. Next, we'll move on to the in-depth understanding segment. You were shocked. In-depth understanding? This isn't like a dating show with a big screen introducing you in some videos. Unlike your curious expression, the rest of the contestants grew incredibly tense upon hearing the host's words, especially Park Budong, whom you injured. The beads of sweat on his forehead were flowing freely because he knew the first round of questioning was just an appetizer. Real in-depth understanding was the main event. The in-depth understanding phase was about to begin. This phase included but was not limited to questioning, investigation, illusion investigation, and trial marriage cohabitation. Death was a possibility during this phase. Please check the rules yourself. You were taken aback. Questioning and investigation were fine. It was about understanding the other person's situation through questioning. But what was this trial marriage cohabitation? Did you really have to live with a female ghost for a while before deciding whether to hold hands? Thinking about this, you felt a surge of anticipation, especially after seeing that voluptuous succubus queen. If they lived together, wouldn't that be amazing? With curiosity, you clicked on the introduction, the trial marriage cohabitation. Investigation involved 2 people simultaneously, pulled into a dreamlike cohabitation scenario. The dream world uses the couple's lives as its backdrop. However, there's a prerequisite for this trial cohabitation. Both parties must be in love, a euphemism for both partners being emotionally committed. Once started, it cannot be ended prematurely unless one party dies. These outrageous rules shocked you. It's too thrilling. But now you probably understand why these people are afraid. Both the dream world and the trial cohabitation involve a crucial issue. Death. Humans, being the weaker party, might suffer a gruesome death if anything went wrong. Unpleasant happens while living with these female ghosts. You seem quite satisfied with these rules. These breathtaking female ghosts are perfect for a trial marriage, but just as your thoughts drift away, The host's voice brings you back to reality. You pull back, and then the male guests are asked to ask questions. First, you were taken aback, isn't it usually? The woman who gets to know the man first in a blind date? Why is the man asking questions first? If that's the case, then maybe you can figure this out. You looked at the 12 female ghosts. A smile on your lips harder to suppress than an AK. Soon, the host chose the first questioner. But to your surprise, the contestant guarding your marriage was none other than Park Budong, the Korean contestant whose face you had beaten into a pig's head, and the person he chose to examine was Jiang Xiaomei, whom he had just offended. Looking at his face swollen like a pig's head, you couldn't understand why Jiang Xiaomei would leave a light on for this pig's head, just as your CPU was burning out. The host's voice rang out. Park Budong, please choose the question you want to examine. Compared to the extreme danger level of investigation in the illusionary realm, questioning. An investigation in the illusionary realm is less dangerous. So Park Budong chose to ask a question. Miss, I wonder what your impression of me is? Jiang Xiaomei said ruthlessly, without any regard for Park Budong's feelings. Hearing this, you suddenly realized that Jiang Xiaomei had left a light on for him just to take revenge on him and planned to humiliate Park Budong in the same way. Park Budong's face became even more unpleasant. He tried to remain calm and asked again, then Miss Kim, would you be willing to continue to get to know me better? Unsurprisingly, Park Budong was rejected again. After being repeatedly frustrated, sweat was already seeping from his forehead. He couldn't understand why this ghost who had left a light for him was so heartless. At the same time, Korean netizens were furious at Jiang Xiaomei's attitude. This Jiang Xiaomei was definitely deliberately humiliating our chosen one. If you don't like it, don't leave your light on for our contestant, they complained in the live chat. As if they had been insulted, Park Budong, to avoid entering that terrifying return passage, could only grit his teeth and continue asking. Then why did Miss Kim leave my light on? Hearing his question, Jiang chuckled. What? You're clearly not satisfied with me leaving a light on a mediocre man like you? Only then did Budong realize that she was clearly trying to torture him. For a moment, he was at a loss. Compared to the illusory test Jiang might offer, he felt the return passage was much more reliable, although he didn't know what was inside. According to those who had returned, while dangerous, there was still a small chance of survival. But being tested by Jiang, who hated him, was basically a death sentence. Looking at Park Budong, who seemed completely lost, Jiang Xiaomei's smile deepened. Mr. Park, don't let your legs give way. A wave of despair washed over Park Budong. His legs trembled uncontrollably, and he suddenly knelt down, tears streaming down his face, begging Jiang Xiaomei for mercy. This groveling scene caught everyone off guard. Korean netizens instantly turned against him. Park Budong, you're a disgrace to Korea. We suggest you be stripped of your citizenship. Another Korean contestant, Park Il-sung, panicked. He rushed forward and grabbed Park Budong's collar. What the hell are you doing? Pulled up, Park Budong's eyes were filled with tears. Il-sung, I really don't want to die. Jiang Xiaomei is clearly trying to torture me. Seeing his pitiful state, Park Il-sung ultimately didn't punish him too harshly. He sighed and returned to his seat, begging for mercy. If the female ghosts were truly so merciful, none of the previous hundreds of matchmaking attempts would have been successful. Hearing their conversation, you frowned slightly. This is only the second round. Why are you already so terrified at this moment? The host's voice came again. Have you finished evaluating Park Budong? If you have, let's continue. Park Budong looked at Jiang Xiaomei, his voice pleading. Miss Kim, please let me go. I'll do anything you want. Whether it was Jiang Xiaomei taking pity or not, she actually agreed. Park Budong's eyes lit up, and he immediately kowtowed in gratitude. But what he didn't expect was that Jiang Xiaomei's next words plunged him back into despair. Don't worry, I'll give you a quick death. Hearing this, Park Budong's legs went weak, and he collapsed to the ground like a rag doll. Now, Jiang Xiaomei, please make your choice. Do you choose to proceed with the test? You are currently leaving your light on for 3 people. You can choose to directly test Park Budong, or choose Park Il-sung and Mo Qingyang. As soon as she finished speaking, Jiang Xiaomei looked at Park Budong. I choose to conduct the illusion test on Park Budong. With the host response, a large screen suddenly appeared on the stage. Upon seeing this, Park Budong seemed to have suddenly gone mad and jumped up from the ground. He then tried to escape like the wind, but as soon as he turned around, he instantly disappeared from the spot. At the same time, the scene of the illusion was displayed on the large screen. It was the B-level dungeon, Blue Moon Castle, where Jiang Xiaomei was. Seeing the scene on the screen, you were a little confused. Isn't this just experiencing a dungeon? So what exactly is being tested? Just as you were wondering, a rustling sound suddenly appeared in the illusion. Upon hearing the rustling sound, Park Budong tensed up. He looked around in terror, repeatedly shouting, "Don't kill me!" Following the sound, he approached in the darkness, only to see vines like long snakes swarming towards him. Park Budong was completely powerless to resist. In an instant, the vines grabbed him. Then, like blood-sucking leeches, the vines pierced his body. With a scream, Park Budong finally met his end. Meanwhile, on the stage, Jiang Xiaomei coldly said, "This is the price of my vulgarity." And look at the horrific scene in this video. It's a new understanding of the illusory test. If I hadn't cultivated the Yin arts, I probably wouldn't have passed this test. Fortunately, now that you've mastered the Taoist arts, you're confident you can pass this level of difficulty. Compared to the fear of the contestants and the despair of the Korean netizens, the host of the eerie space acted as if nothing had happened. All right, let's continue with the matchmaking event. Next up, but before he could finish speaking, you suddenly stopped him. Wait a minute, Dragon Kingdom contestant. What's wrong? Can I just go into Miss Zhang's illusory test? Hearing this, everyone was furious. Is Mo Qingyang crazy? Didn't he see how horribly Park Budong died? Going in now is just courting death. Jiang was also stunned and stood there dumbfounded. The illusory test was created by the female ghost's thoughts. The scenes and characters inside were all virtual. For example, this time Park Budong was the one who created the vengeful illusion, which concealed extremely strong killing intent. However, Jiang Xiaomei has a good impression of you and doesn't want you to enter this dangerous illusion. Even if she wants to test you, she hopes you can wait until the illusion disappears. Before entering this safer illusion she has rewoven. The host is obviously hearing such a suicidal request for the first time. You mean you want to enter this illusion? You immediately realized that you still have several blind dates ahead of you, and who knows when it will be your turn. Anyway, you can't avoid entering the illusion for testing, so you might as well go in now, win her over, and live together. Hearing this, the host is stunned. Why does this guy give off the feeling of being impatient and looking for death? Seeing that the host doesn't speak, you urge him again. After about 2 or 3 seconds, the host's voice finally rings out. But this time he is asking Jiang Xiaomei. Jiang Xiaomei, the guest, asked if she could allow him to enter her illusion to investigate. Jiang Xiaomei was slightly taken aback, but then blushed. Is Mo Qingyang trying to get my attention this way? She asked. I really don't want him to die so soon. After much deliberation, Jiang Xiaomei decided to agree. After all, she was a female ghost, showing mercy to humans would be disrespectful to her own identity. As her voice faded, your figure slowly disappeared. When you opened your eyes again, you found yourself standing at the entrance of an ancient temple. At the entrance, an unmoving skeleton lay quietly. Looking at his corpse, you couldn't help but shake your head. But you were too lazy to pity him. You were a Taoist priest, not a saint, and your compassion wasn't for everyone. After observing your surroundings, you decided to enter the temple to see what this place was like. It's an illusion, but the background is indeed where Jiang Xiaomei lives. You want to see what he does in this strange world. In case he's not your type, you can give up sooner. Thinking this, you push your hand towards the door of the ancient temple. But just then, a hissing sound like a snake suddenly comes from below the temple. Steps. Without turning around, you know it's those eerie vines that killed Park Budong. The vines move quickly, like serpents crawling on the ground. In just a few breaths, they're behind you. But what surprised everyone was that, facing those rapidly approaching vines, the corners of your mouth slightly raised, and you even stretched and relaxed. Jiang Xiaomei looked at the screen with a puzzled expression. How come this guy isn't afraid at all? You know the vines are called ghost vines, and each vine symbolizes a murdered The spirits of the dead were like manipulated puppets, only knowing how to kill. Ordinary humans couldn't possibly withstand them, especially since there were hundreds of vines. Even with outstanding abilities, one might not be able to escape them. Thinking of this, he couldn't help but worry about you. But he quickly suppressed his emotions. After all, his purpose in participating in this program wasn't to find a lover, but to find someone who could help him escape. The Blue Moon Ancient Temple. After shaking his head slightly, Jiang Xiaomei stopped thinking about it, but a sudden exclamation pulled Jiang Xiaomei back to reality. She saw the matchmakers staring at the screen in shock, their faces filled with disbelief. Jiang Xiaomei followed their gaze and was instantly dumbfounded. In the video, the vines came to you and stopped one by one. You gently patted the snake-like vines and laughed. "Look at the mess you've made. Let me trim it for you." But after you said that, the vines didn't attack you at all. Instead, they seemed to enjoy being petted like kittens. Netizens who saw this scene felt their scalps tingle. Is that vine enjoying itself? Can anyone tell me what's going on? They couldn't understand how these vines, which had drained Park Budong dry, had become little pets in your presence. Jiang Xiaomei's eyes widened in disbelief. Even when facing him, these vines had never been so docile. Just as she was racking her brains, an even stranger scene unfolded. You smiled and said to the vines, "After I finish up here, come back and I'll fix this for you. Be good, or I'll chop you up." The words had barely left your lips when the vines seemed to understand, frantically retreating into the distance. They even seemed to regard you as their master. At this point, the netizens were speechless, not even knowing what to say in the comments. Avine, that had drained Park Budong dry like nothing, was dismissed by Mo Qingyang with just a few words. But just when everyone assumed Jiang Xiaomei was going easy on him, she spoke first, voicing her doubts. "What kind of magic did Mo Qingyang cast on my vines?" Hearing this, the netizens were utterly bewildered. Did Mo Qingyang have superpowers? Meanwhile, on the other side, Long Tianyu, in the command room of Longshan Kingdom, suddenly stood up, his eyes widened, and his laughter was so loud it could be heard through the firewall. "This time, our Dragon Kingdom has definitely struck gold. Mo Qingyang never went in seeking death. If he dared to face 12 opponents alone, he must have his own confidence. Perhaps he really can marry all the female ghosts this time. If so, Dragon Kingdom can open up the resources of 12 eerie passages." Meanwhile, in the illusory realm, you smiled as you watched the ghost vines leave. These ghost vines were deadly to others, but to you they were like pets. After all, you cultivated the Yin arts, and during your cultivation, you were constantly in contact with ghosts. Your goal was to allow Yin energy to invade your body as much as possible, thereby suppressing the Yang energy surging within you. Now you were 18 years old, and the production of the Yang energy had reached a terrifying stage, which made it critically necessary to track down a female ghost to share a room with to neutralize it. These ghost vines were just minor ghost entities. Your Yang energy was like fine wine to them, which was also the biggest reason they liked you. Seeing the ghost vines leave, you turned around and pushed open the gate of the Blue Moon Temple. Unlike the dilapidated ancient temple outside, the interior was very grand. As soon as you entered, all the eerie eyes inside turned to you. There was a group of girls in their early 20s. At this moment, a female ghost saw you and shouted, "Girls, we have a guest." As the voice fell, the women swayed their slender waists and walked towards you. Looking at these girls, you couldn't help but frown. The sudden appearance of these mysterious women was similar to those in the ghost movies you had seen. If it were like the movie plots, then ordinary people would most likely be drained dry if they entered. Jiang Xiaomei is also here, so wouldn't he suddenly feel a bit uncomfortable? Thinking about this, you're looking for a respectable female ghost. This kind of promiscuous ghost isn't your type, so you turn to leave. But a woman stops you as soon as you turn around. The woman sneers. "No man who comes here can just leave." And she winks at the other women, and the next second, they surround you. Seeing this, you show displeasure. "Sorry, I'm a Taoist priest, and don't get close to women." And you start walking away. Unexpectedly, The smiles on the women's faces vanish instantly. The next second, these female ghosts take off their ribbons and wrap them around you. In just a moment, wrapped up like a mummy, the leading female ghost appears before you, lifting your chin to kiss you. Foreign netizens scoff and shake their heads at the sight. They've seen this scene countless times. Once you enter this world, it's hard to leave without admitting wrongdoing. Jiang Xiaomei has been watching your every move. The initial ghost vines were enough to puzzle her, but now she's even more perplexed. Isn't this guy a womanizer? How come he's so reserved in front of so many beautiful women? Furthermore, these women possess a unique seductive art. Men under its spell even forget where they are, completely lost in its charms. But this Mo Qingyang not only remains composed, but also doesn't resist. The intoxicating charm was still lingering in his mind when, just as he was wondering, he heard a muffled shout from the screen. The cloth around him was instantly torn to shreds, and he broke free of his restraints. He kicked the woman away, who was stunned and stared at him in disbelief. A sharp glint flashed in his eyes as he roared, "Get out of my way!" Instantly, all the female ghosts felt an irresistible masculine power. They involuntarily made way for him as if they were facing an extremely terrifying entity. And watching the ghosts make way, you then started to walk outside. But just as you were about to leave, a woman on the second floor of the ancient temple called out to you. She was dressed in a pink hanfu, her eyes sparkling with a gentle smile. "Young master, since you have come here, why do you keep us ladies at arm's length? Could it be that the other ladies cannot enter?" "Your eyes, young master." This girl was clearly the madam here, but you showed no mercy when questioned. "I'm here to find a wife, not to spend money." Hearing this, a cold glint flashed in the woman's eyes, but her face remained smiling. "So young master appreciates elegance. Our girls are skilled in music, chess, calligraphy, and painting. I wonder what kind of woman you prefer." You frowned slightly. "I'll say it again. I'm here to find a wife. And Jiang Xiaomei, you're from here, right?" "Oh, you know my sister Xiaomei?" You were taken aback, not expecting Jiang Xiaomei to have such a beautiful boss sister. However, you had already lost all interest in this place. "If I don't know her, I won't bother to know her in the future." Saying this, you were about to leave. These words appeared on the screen. Jiang Xiaomei outside was stunned, hearing that you didn't recognize her and wouldn't bother to recognize her in the future. So he was already bored before you even got to her. Upon hearing this, the mother ghost, exuding murderous intent, floated down from above, her entire body radiating black, ghostly energy. Seeing this, you quickly activated your protective aura. A burst of golden light erupting from your body. The mother ghost flashed behind you, about to touch your shoulder, but was repelled by your aura. At the same time, his hand felt like it had been burned. He froze, instinctively putting his fingers in his mouth. Instantly, a sweet young energy swept over his taste buds. The woman's eyes gradually brightened, her gaze towards you, revealing greed and longing. "Young master, if you don't like these common beauties, would you like to come to my boudoir for a chat?" she said, waving to the surrounding female ghosts, who bowed and retreated. Hearing this, you sneered. "Trying to monopolize me? I'm afraid you don't have the ability." He dared not approach you too closely, even though the yang energy that had just leaked out was delicious. However, forcibly breaking through such a powerful protective aura would be fatal. So he respectfully made a gesture of invitation, trying to invite you into the house again. But you refused in a second, secretly vowing to extinguish the ghost's light as soon as you left the illusion. Unexpectedly, before you even stepped out the door, you were stopped by a woman again. "I know you have reservations about these women, but I'm still a virgin. If you don't mind, Jiang Shoutai, am willing to give myself to you." Upon hearing this, the viewers in the live stream were stunned. Where did Mo Qingyang get such great charm? I seriously suspect this mother ghost has masochistic tendencies. Jiang Shoutai was even more surprised than the others, although the people and things in the illusion were not real. Whether it was the razor-sharp ghost vines, or whatever her sister presented, they were all real simulations. In other words, if her sister was really in there, she would really want to marry Mo Qingyang. You know her sister has always regarded men as beasts, but now she is begging to marry Mo Qingyang. For a moment, Jiang Shoutai even wondered if there was a problem with the illusion system. You were also confused, but unlike the netizens, you were not shocked that Jiang Shoutai wanted to marry you, but that the madam is a virgin. Jiang Shoutai, probably guess your doubts. I know you might not believe it, but I truly am. And my sister is too. As he spoke, he waved his fan towards the temple. Instantly, the once magnificent decorations suddenly morphed into a dilapidated, ancient temple, and the women's bodies changed accordingly, eventually turning into snakes. As you can see, we have never been touched by those dirty men. The primary reason we pretended to be prostitutes was to obtain yang energy to nourish our snake bodies. You weren't surprised at all. In fact, you already knew they were snake demons when you came in, but you didn't expect them to be snake demons who used honey traps. Moreover, judging from Jiang Shoutai's expression, he really despised humans. So the claim of being a virgin should be true. You are different from those ordinary people, not to mention your pure yang body. You are also a master of yin cultivation, naturally having an affinity for these strange beings. So it's normal for her to like you. However, you came here to meet her sister. Unexpectedly, in order to keep you, Jiang Shoutai offered to serve you, and even handed over the management of the temple. Looking at her sincere appearance, you couldn't bear to refuse. Let's try it first. If you dare to lie to me, don't blame me for being impolite. Seeing that you agree, Jiang Shoutai ran to your side. How could this be, young master? You are Xiaoyi's beloved. Saying this, she naturally and gently took your arm and led you upstairs. At the same time, the Dragon Kingdom's live stream was flooded with viewers. Is this a secret weapon from your Dragon Kingdom? Why does the Dragon Kingdom possess such a bizarre method to captivate female ghosts, but not share it to save humanity? Looking at the screen full of comments, Long Tianyou's face was flushed with excitement. Mo Qingyang's performance undoubtedly gave everyone in the Dragon Kingdom a shot in the arm. Putting aside everything else, this B-grade blue Moon Temple was already firmly under control. But Mo Qingyang, as a living deity, needed some packaging. He pointed to a middle-aged soldier beside him and said, "Go report this immediately to the Household Registration Department to give Mo Qingyang an identity. Say he's the celestial master of Longhu Mountain." Meanwhile, in the eerie marriage space, Jiang Xiaomei watched as her sister and Mo Qingyang were about to skip her and enter the trial marriage phase. She immediately panicked. She felt her sister wouldn't speak without reason. Mo Qingyang must have something worth her effort. Thinking this, Jiang Xiaomei shouted to the host, "I request to terminate the illusory investigation." Everyone was stunned that the investigation was terminated, but they quickly realized they should stop it. Otherwise, the scene wouldn't be allowed to air. However, the host asked in confusion, "The designated time for the illusory realm trial isn't up yet, according to the rules. It can't end early, Miss Jiang. Are you going to press the buzzer?" Jiang was caught in a dilemma, but she quickly found her answer. If Mo Qingyang continued the test, she and her sister might be pregnant by the time they came out. Although it wasn't a real person inside, her sister would strangle her if she saw it. Thinking this, Jiang pressed the red button in front of her heavily. A buzzer sounded, and female guest number 7 pressed her buzzer at the same time. The host announced the end of the test. With the buzzer music playing, the people of Longshan Kingdom erupted in cheers. I actually witnessed the very first female ghost to slam her buzzer at the ghostly marriage meeting. Doesn't that mean that, as long as Mo Qingyang agrees, they can successfully pair up? You know, no country across the entire planet has ever successfully paired up with a female guest. This buzzer could easily be regarded as a monumental milestone in humanity's conquest of the ghostly realm. The other matchmakers looked on with envy at the person being teleported out. They simply couldn't fathom how a person dressed in tattered clothes. How did the young Taoist priest in his old robes manage to catch Jiang Xiaomei's eye? Suddenly teleported back, you stood there dumbfounded, staring at Jiang Xiaomei's resentful gaze. You frowned slightly. The buzzer had already gone off, but instead of immediately taking her hand, you asked her a question. Miss Jiang Xiaomei, can you accept polygamy? The atmosphere suddenly fell silent, with only the background music continuing to play. At this moment, the chat in the live stream abruptly stopped. Everyone stared wide-eyed at the screen. Mo Qingyang's meaning was that he didn't just want to marry Jiang Xiaomei alone. The people of Longshan Kingdom were on tenterhooks, fearing that Jiang, the little sister, would angrily withdraw the thumbs-up message. Coming to her senses, Jiang Xiaomei frowned and looked at you. What did you say? Do you agree that I can marry a few more later? You replied firmly. You know very well that Jiang Xiaomei's level isn't high. She can't possibly withstand your pure yang body alone. So to save your life, you can't just give up other female ghosts for Jiang Xiaomei. Upon hearing this, Jiang Xiaomei's face turned cold. What if I don't agree? She asked. As a female ghost, Xiaomei had her own pride. How could she allow others to share her husband? If you don't agree, I won't hold your hand. Almost simultaneously, everyone's eyes were glued to the screen. Are you crazy? Do you have any idea how many valuable resources this ghost woman will bring to the Dragon Kingdom? Mo Qingyang, you'd better change your mind. Jiang Xiaomei was also slow to react. What? You don't agree to hold hands with me? She had been so humble to be the first to press the buzzer, and yet he flat out rejected her, just because she disagreed with him marrying several ghost women. Just then, a silvery laugh suddenly rang out. Looking towards the source of the sound, a bewitching woman with black wings giggled. Little brother Mo Qingyang, what do you think of me? I can accept polygamy, oh. Then her tone suddenly changed. But you have to be strong enough. The change in tone was so fast that netizens were stunned. But just as the two were flirting, Jiang Xiaomei's angry voice suddenly rang out, her blood-red eyes fixed on him, as if she wanted to devour him alive. Mo Qingyang, now I'm asking you one last time, are you going to hold hands with me or not? She thought that a little force would make him give in, but unexpectedly, his yang energy was so high that his skin was thicker than steel, and he didn't take her seriously at all. I said I can't only marry one woman, so I refused to hold hands. After all, with my yang energy, unable to be suppressed, I would die suddenly within 7 days, and a single female ghost was not enough to neutralize the yang energy. To save my life, I could only marry several more. Upon hearing this, the entire Dragon Kingdom was heartbroken. The golden opportunity that was already within their grasp had just squandered by Mo Qingyang. He had truly played a winning hand terribly. Upon hearing this, Jiang Xiaomei's blood surged, and she lunged at him. However, before she could strike, Jiang Shoutai stopped her little sister. Mo Qingyang isn't just yours. You want to hit him? Did you ask me? Immediately afterward, a blood-red smoke began to rise from the black horns on her head, clearly a sign that the succubus was about to go berserk. But just as the two were about to fight, Han Rushuang, who was standing in position 1, suddenly interrupted. Little sister, wait a minute. Don't be so impulsive. I strongly suggest keeping your signal light on for now to see if you can accept it later. Then turn off your light. It's not too late. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. Did Han Rushuang also want to keep Mo Qingyang? What surprised them even more was that the other SSS level female guests also said similar things to Han Rushuang. This Mo Qingyang is going against the heavens, abandoning 1 to gain 11. Jiang Xiaomei was so shocked that she couldn't speak. She never imagined that her trusted friend would instantly turn her back on her for Playboy. But what she didn't know was that the reason these SSS-level female ghosts spoke up for you is not because they really liked you, but because they had noticed a strange phenomenon. That is, you seem to possess some kind of magic that makes ghosts feel favorably towards you. They all want to test you personally too, and find out what's going on. So this time, we absolutely cannot let Jiang Xiaomei kill you. Seeing the situation getting out of control, the host quickly said, Jiang Xiaomei, you now have 2 choices. One is to revive. After reviving, you are completely free to press the buzzer again whenever you wish, to try and get a chance to hold hands with the male guest. But if the male guest still refuses, the red thread between you will break, and you will no longer have a chance to hold hands. The other is to turn off the light and give up on the male guest. After hearing this, Jiang Xiaomei looked at you, but found that you had no intention of trying to keep her. This made her feel a deep sense of defeat for the first time. She gritted her teeth and touched the pass button. Just as she was about to touch the button, she suddenly stopped for a moment. She felt a pang of reluctance. Finally, in the last second of the countdown, she swallowed her pride and chose to revive. Seeing this, netizens around the world were shocked. In the matchmaking event, the human side is at a great disadvantage. All the contestants are trying their best to please the female ghosts. But this Mo Qingyang is so aloof. Yet he can still make the female ghost lower her stance. Is this a science fiction movie? And you were very calm. Miss Jiang, it's no use keeping the light on. I won't hold your hand unless you give me 3 wives and 4 ghosts. After all, my young energy is about to explode. If I find a few more female ghosts, my life will be in danger. The matchmaking event will continue. The next contestant scheduled for evaluation is Park Il-sung from Korea. His heart is moved. The girl is Jiang Xiaomei. Park Il-sung wanted to curse her. This female ghost was so angry, wasn't he doomed? But to his surprise, Jiang Xiaomei not only didn't make things difficult for him, but also comforted him. Brother Il-sung, don't be afraid. If Mo Qingyang could pass the test, so can you, she said, activating the test and significantly reducing the difficulty with her willpower, all to ensure Park Il-sung's safe return. And her purpose in doing this was simply to annoy him. Korean netizens cheered upon hearing this. The female ghost was deliberately going easy on him, and coupled with the Korean player's talent for imitation, they could refer to Mo Qingyang's previous actions when clearing the test this time. He was sure to return safely, and the script was developing according to their expectations. In front of the eerie temple, Park Il-sung successfully appeased the ghostly vine monsters by imitating your method. However, things changed after entering the temple. Wrapped in white cloth like a mummy by the eerie creature, Park Il-sung was surprised to find that no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't break free of the cloth shackles. He couldn't understand why Mo Qingyang, who was clearly frail, could easily break free of the cloth, while he, with 10 times the strength of an ordinary person, couldn't break free no matter how hard he tried. In fact, the cloth was getting tighter. In a daze, Park Il-sung's yang energy was drained by the female ghosts. Korean netizens, seeing that both of their own contestants were struggling, were once again in despair. Kim Kardashian on stage was also quite shocked by this. Only then did she realize this Mo Qingyang is no ordinary Taoist priest. He must possess some kind of powerful force. At this moment, the host's voice rang out. The matchmaking continues. The upcoming contestant is Kuroki Jiro from Island Nation. His partner is contestant number 5, Nao Shiro. Unlike the other contestants who looked fearful, Kuroki Jiro, though short, seemed very confident. Giro is truly overestimating itself. They have no strategy. They deserve it to die. Saying this, Kuroki Jiro looked across and bowed deeply to contestant number 5. Naoshiro. Miss Naoshiro, I'm very satisfied with you. No tests are needed. To show my loyalty, please give me a question. Hearing Kuroki Jiro's words, everyone was a little confused. This contestant from Island Nation is so confident. Where on earth does he get this kind of confidence? That comes from thousands of simulated blind dates? Of course. Did you think we Japanese are like Korea, only good at copying? Naoshiro was slightly taken aback, perhaps because he himself didn't expect that someone would dare to skip the test. What shocked him even more was the fact that Kuroki Jiro immediately took out a gift box. Miss Naoshiro, this is a small gift for you. I wonder if you like it. Just when everyone thought he was going to gift her pure gold and silver jewelry, Naoshiro opened it and found a pair of golden dice inside. You were a little confused. You've never seen dice given as gifts instead of flowers and bags before. But unexpectedly, when Naoshiro saw the dice, her eyes lit up. Thank you, Kuroki-kun. I like it very much. Kuroki Jiro's lips curled up slightly. The Island Nation had already carried out a thorough and detailed investigation of Naoshiro and knew that she was a gambler. The pure gold dice were indeed an excellent gift, but Naoshiro's smile made the netizens of the Dragon Kingdom feel uneasy. Once the Island Nation gained powerful strength, given the style of this nation, it would surely be another disaster. And after seeing Naoshiro's joyful appearance, a sense of crisis welled up in your heart. Would your fiancé be stolen away by a pair of dice? Naoshiro, you better be reserved. Little did you know that this pair of dice was just one part of Kuroki Jiro's strategy to win over the female ghost. Miss Naoshiro, I know you must also like strong men. So I sincerely hope to win your heart in your own way. Is this Naoshiro a gambling god? Has Kuroki Jiro gone mad? Faced with the Island Nation contestants' reckless request, Naoshiro also became interested. Since that's the case, let's just set up a gambling table this time. As the words fell, a square table appeared in everyone's eyes. With 2 dice cups on the table, the two quickly arrived at the gambling table. Naoshiro picked up the dice cup and asked, "What's the stake this time?" For a gambling addict, without a stake, the game would be meaningless. Unexpectedly, Kuroki Jiro, facing the gambling god and gambling addict, was full of confidence. Best 3 out of 5. He said, "If I lose, I'll cut off my own arm. If I win, Miss Naoshiro will become my wife." Hearing this, netizens were stunned. This Japanese player was ruthless. He really went all out to win over Naoshiro. Naoshiro, however, chuckled. She had originally planned to let Kuroki Jiro off the hook because of the gift, but he unexpectedly offered to gamble with his arm. Let's see what he's really capable of, she thought. Okay, I agree. This time, we'll compare sizes, right? If the numbers are the same, is it a tie? But Inukai Jiro's next words shocked him. If the numbers are the same, it's a tie. Upon hearing the words Miss Naoshiro wins, everyone gasped. Naoshiro was a gambling god from the demon world, able to roll 26s out of 10 dice. Was Inukai Jiro courting death? But what they never anticipated was that this was all part of Inukai Jiro's plan. Just as the two were about to begin their gamble, Inukai Jiro suddenly stopped them. Miss Naoshiro, I truly hope this risky gamble can be fair, so I want to exchange 2 dice. Everyone was puzzled, thinking that the Island Nation was definitely going to tamper with the dice. But what puzzled them was that, no matter what Inukai Jiro did, Naoshiro's outcome would still change. As a gambling god, his outcome was managed by a mysteriously transformed fire demon. The points could be controlled by Naoshiro at will. It seemed like a sure loss. Meanwhile, at the strange marriage scene, Naoshiro thought for a moment and agreed. As soon as she finished speaking, Inukai Jiro took out 2 silver dice from his pocket and respectfully handed them to Naoshiro. Upon seeing this, Naoshiro frowned slightly. He seriously suspected that the silver dice had been tampered with. I'll use this one. Didn't you give me 2 gold dice? I'll use that one. It must be said that Naoshiro was quite vigilant. However, Jiro pretended to be troubled on the surface, but secretly laughed. Soon, the two started shaking their dice cups. In the first round, Naoshiro's points reached a terrifying 20 points. He was only 4 points away from a Grand Slam. But Inukai Jiro only had 15 points. Seeing the Island Nation players suffer a crushing defeat in the first round, netizens from the Dragon Kingdom cheered in unison. Only you frowned slightly. If this Naoshiro was a gambling god, how could he only get 20 points? There must be something wrong with those 2 gold dice. At the same time, Naoshiro also noticed something unusual. He clearly controlled the dice to shake 6s. So why did one of the dice only get 5 points? Was it affected by the gold dice? I lost, but I didn't show any sign of it. Despite his disappointment, he still smiled and praised Inukai Jiro. The second round of the duel began, and Naoshiro rolled 22. Just when everyone thought the Island Nation player was bound to lose, Inukai Jiro unexpectedly rolled a Grand Slam. For a moment, space froze. This female ghost must have deliberately let him win. Naoshiro looked at Inukai Jiro in disbelief. He was entirely unable to comprehend why the 2 dice he had exchanged would openly defy his direct orders and roll 6s. Only you in the distance saw the clue. The golden dice given by Inukai Jiro must have been laced or mixed with something strange that could interfere with the ghost dice. Soon, the score was 1-2. If Naoshiro lost another round, she would have to marry the Japanese man. As the dice landed, Inukai Jiro revealed his dice first. It was still a grand slam, just like the previous 2 rounds. Seeing this, Naoshiro was furious. Her bloodshot eyes were fixed on Inukai Jiro, but she didn't make a move. After all, he was the gambling god of the ghost world. If he killed someone because he was afraid of losing, he would become a laughingstock in the ghost world. But just as he hesitated to open the dice cup, a black shadow suddenly darted out from the distance.